Today marked an important milestone in my life as a new resident of Portugal. I cast my first vote in a Portuguese national election. I'm sure some of you are asking yourself, wait, how did this happen? Well, it's a story, and it's a long one. One I probably needed to tell quite a while ago. I am a Portuguese citizen thanks to ancestors who fled this land almost exactly 300 years ago and eventually wound up in the United States. Let's backtrack 20 years ago. Struggling financially thanks to the worldwide 2008 financial crisis, Spain and Portugal passed laws in hopes of bringing new residents and new money into their cash-strapped countries. If you could prove you were the descendants of Jews who were expelled in the case of Spain, or forced to hide their true religious identity in the case of Portugal, you could apply for citizenship in these countries. Many do not know that for several hundred years in the Middle Ages and during Moorish rule of the Iberian Peninsula, this area is more or less the center of Jewish life in the world. Sephardic Jews were great religious thinkers, philosophers, scientists, and doctors. Such as my eighth grandfather, Diego Núñez Ribeiro, who later simply became known as Samuel Núñez, a secret Jew who was born in the mountains of eastern Portugal in 1668. My grandfather rose to become the personal physician of King João of Portugal and the Grand Inquisitor. The last would prove to be lucky for him because when he and his wife Rebecca, born Gracia, were caught and quickly convicted of being secret Jews or Judaizing, they were not burned at the stake like so many other accused of the same so-called crime. Instead, the inquisitors placed them under house arrest and put spies in the Núñez Ribeiro household. Their daughter and my seventh grandmother, Zipporah, wrote an incredible and quite possibly exaggerated account about how her father conspired with a British naval officer to escape Portugal. He threw a grand party on a boat that left Lisbon in 1726, and they sailed way out to sea until they exited Portuguese waters, allowing the family to escape to England, where they lived between 1726 and 1733. My grandfather then chose to go on a ship that was among the first to arrive in the new Georgia colony. Arriving in 1733, he found the colony nearly wiped out by a yellow fever epidemic. Using medicines he concocted from local herbs and tree roots, he stopped the epidemic and saved the colony. In gratitude and in defiance of higher-ups who did not want Georgia to become a haven for Jews, Governor James Oglethorpe not only allowed the new arrivals to stay, but granted them land. And thus our family's long and illustrious chapter in America began. You can learn more about his story in a Webby-nominated podcast that dramatizes my grandfather's journey to America called Flames of Freedom. I'll put a link below in the description. But let's go back to 100 years before Samuel Nunez was born and why Madeira itself means so much to me. According to my digital family tree, my 10th grandparents and Samuel Nunez's fraternal grandparents were Diogo Gomez and Isabel Henriquez, who died in Punta do Sol in the 17th century. They were married in 1621 in Cañas, the very same tiny town where Patty, Happy, and I just bought a house. Whether or not this is true is really up for debate. The farther back in time you go, the more unreliable family trees become. Nonetheless, I love the idea that I have somehow returned to my family's homeland, and perhaps to the very town where my grandparents once lived. If that isn't the circle of life, I don't know what is. It makes me so proud to be back in Portugal and to be able to vote in the elections of this country, the homeland of my family for so many centuries. So this week was a big week for us as new residents of Madeira. Not only did I get my first chance to vote, but Patty got some good news on her status as a new Portugal resident.
Yes, I got my visa. I'm just waiting for my card in the mail. Should be here in a few weeks.
Great.
Saúde!
Saúde!